what's happening around the world and what's happening here at home. A very good evening to you and welcome to Primetime News. And here are your headlines.
Britain to give Sri Lanka £6.6 million to help the country recover from the civil war. Opposition presents a price list in Parliament.
මේ සුපර්මාකට්ෙන් තමයි රවි කරුණානායක මුදල් ඇමතුමා භාණ්ඩ මිලදී ගන්නෙ. නිලධාරීන් කියන විදිහට අපි නටන්න යන්නේ නැහැ.
3 ministers request for the financial transactions of Avantgarde to be probed.
මේකේ නිවැරදි භාවය ඔප්පු වෙනවා. ඊට පස්සේ වැරදිකරුට විරුද්ධව ක්‍රියා කරන්න.
Dutch era tower in Negombo collapses. 4 policemen injured following a raid in Epawala.
Britain's Prime Minister David Cameron has offered Sri Lanka £6.6 million its recovery from a long civil war at a meeting with President Maithripala Sirisena on the sidelines of the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Malta.
President Maithripala Sirisena met with British Prime Minister David Cameron on the sidelines of CHOGM 2015 in Malta. According to the UK's independent website, the aid will help people displaced from their towns and villages to return home. The Commonwealth and the Government of Malta, together with the governments of Mauritius, Sri Lanka and India, signed the declaration for a new trade financing fund to help boost trade and investment flows, particularly for small and developing countries. The voluntary fund hopes to attract startup capital of $20 million. Foreign ministers of the Commonwealth met for a discussion today.
Several more roundtable discussions are scheduled to be held over the course of the day with the participation of heads of state and many organizations. Several matters concerning youth, women, regional issues, challenges in reaching sustainable development, fighting climate change and the stability of the Commonwealth are due to be discussed at these meetings. We will bring you the details of all dialogues and meetings which will be held concurrent to the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting.
Baroness Patricia Scotland was selected as the new Commonwealth Secretary-General at the Commonwealth Summit in Malta, the first woman to hold the post in the 66-year history of the Commonwealth. Born in Dominica in 1955, Baroness Patricia Scotland moved with her family to Britain and served as a minister in the British Parliament. The new Commonwealth Secretary-General addressed the media following the announcement.
What I might be able to give is the combination of all the Commonwealth, because I am truly a child of the Commonwealth. There is much to do, but I hope all 53 of us will look together at the vision. We will look at what we need to do on climate change, on education, on science and technology, and we will make this a better world for our children.
Commonwealth countries have pledged billions to climate action at a special session on climate change at the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting.
The first is the creation of a climate finance access hub. And the principle behind this hub is to make the availability of finance which exists in theory, climate finance, into a reality for the small states. The small states are told that large amounts of money is available as climate finance, but no one told them the telephone number to dial, or the form to fill, or the process to follow. This disconnect is sought to be remedied by us.
This Commonwealth is quite unique international regional organization in its unique diversity. We have many regional organizations, but this covers almost 1/3 of global population, and membership is also almost 1/3 of the United Nations. It's the diversity. When the CHOGM members are united, that can be reasonably said that you represent all the views of the United Nations.
President Maithripala Sirisena met with the Canadian and Australian Prime Ministers on the sidelines of CHOGM 2015. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau met the President thereafter. Both leaders had pledged to further strengthen the bilateral ties between Sri Lanka and Canada. The Canadian Prime Minister had said that as peace and democracy had been established in Sri Lanka, Canada would support Sri Lanka in achieving its development goals. Australian Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull had said that he has been briefed on the Sri Lankan government's program to create peace and reconciliation among all communities following the conclusion of the war. He had added that Australia will continue to support Sri Lanka. The Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting 2015 will conclude tomorrow. President Maithripala Sirisena, who is in Malta to attend Shogun 2015, will head to France following the conclusion of the summit to attend the World Climate Change Summit. 3 ministers have requested the Criminal Investigations Department to immediately carry out investigations in the statements made by the chairman of the avant-garde.
Minister Rajitha Senaratne made this statement while speaking to reporters following the conclusion of the prize giving at St. Paul's Girls' School, Milagiriya. We scheduled this at 5 p.m. for Minister Arjuna, 6 p.m. for myself and 8 p.m. for Minister Champika Ranawaka to provide statements. Therefore, we lodged a written complaint with the CID yesterday. We asked them to carry out a clear investigation with regard to this. The truth will be proven in this investigation and action will be taken against the wrongdoer. The Navy has taken over the operations. Back then the Navy had to operate under the political thrust. As I see, this is a business of Gotabaya Rajapaksa. When Cabinet met, Gotabaya Rajapaksa has called several SLFP ministers and told them to prevent this matter from being raised and to speak against this. What was his need to do that? Who has been summoned to the Presidential Commission of Inquiry? The Rajapaksas are behind this.
The National Law Week was initiated today with the aim of creating an environment where one can trust the law.
The National Law Week commenced opposite the Hulstorf Court Complex in Colombo. Even though we execute a successful judicial system, the government has not undertaken a program to raise awareness among the people about the law. The rule of law of the country needs to be protected above all. That is the mold for democracy. During the past, we heard the third voice. This voice came from the people. We have reached a point where the doubts and mistrust on the judiciary is fading away. We will strive towards this.
I believe that there's a need for a strong bar, and this would no doubt help in the development of sterling qualities amongst the members of the bar, which will also be reflected in the course of time in the members of the bench when judges are exclusively recruited from amongst the members of the bar. Lawyers see the law in action as perhaps no one else does, and without their assistance it is impossible to make the law an instrument of social justice. We need to respond to the call of balance and impartiality. The inherent nature of law is rationality and objectivity. The legal profession is the custodian of these values. Let us therefore guard them well, because they are now in short supply.
Today is the 6th day of the second reading of the 2016 budget.
This morning I visited a supermarket which is the closest to Parliament. Finance Minister Ravi Karnanayake also buys goods from the supermarket. A kilogram of dal was priced at 225 rupees today. Canned fish was priced at 225 rupees. A packet of milk powder is 325 rupees. 200 grams of sprats is priced at 310 rupees. That is around 1,500 rupees. In Parliament, it was said that these new prices will come into effect from midnight. The Finance Minister said that the prices will come into effect on the 24th. This bill represents the present situation. I would like to ask, where is the Maitri Chintana embedded in? In January, you dressed the president like Modi. You reap successful results. That is good. However, do not try to make him a fool this time.
We
will not act according to the whims and fancies of the officials. When I was the Minister of Tourism, I was surprised to see that the military was building hotels in Trincomalee. There are hotels in Chundikulam built by the military. Private security companies were established. Rakna Rakshaka Lanka Private Limited was run by the army. Contracts are taken from that and given to avant-garde. Is this the intervention of the government? This budget will put a stop to that.
මම ආඩම්බර වෙනවා මේ ජාතික ආණ්ඩුවේ.
I am proud to hold a ministerial portfolio in this consensual government. I must clearly note that the stalled development in the Hambantota district will be revived by us from within the government.
ගන්නවයි කියන එක අපි පැහැදිලිව කියනවා. පෞද්ගලික අංශයට
I must mention that if you can create a pension for the private sector, then the country will emerge victorious.
පැහැදිලිව ප්‍රකාශ කරනවා.
Are provisions being made for discussions to take place on the new matters that were raised? Yes, in addition, we are flexible. If these MPs here present ideas that are better than what exists, we will be flexible to make the changes.
Cabinet ministers who represent the Sri Lanka Freedom Party met with the Prime Minister and the Finance Minister for a discussion yesterday.
Minister Mahinda Amaraveera said that the discussion took place to resolve the issues surrounding the budget. We discussed a number of issues including the fertilizer subsidy, the emission tax and the taxes imposed on electric cars. We can expect for better results. We will have to study the situation more and meet on Tuesday for another meeting and direct attention to the issues that can be resolved. When we come to a position to solve the issues with the Prime Minister and the Finance Minister, I believe that we will not have to face any serious issues. We will vote in favour of the budget.
The 7th Exporters Forum of the Sri Lanka Export Development Board was held in Colombo yesterday.
The event, which was organised by the Ministry of Development Strategies and International Trade, saw the participation of many stakeholders of the export sector and State Minister of International Trade, Sujiva Senasinghe.
The budget has just come out. I think the people are also confused. We are also a bit confused. But I think it's a good direction that we have taken this budget, export-oriented budget. The people might not understand this. The general public will always want concessions. But we can't build this country on concessions. We must create a new environment for the export industry, must encourage them, and only if we encourage the export sector, which is about 11 billion now, and our aim is to make it about 35 billion in 5 years.
The old Dutch tower in Katana Kandawala, which is 200 years old, collapsed this morning.
The tower, which stood at a height of 64 feet, was situated on the baseline road connecting Everywatta in Katanaika and Sidua. The area residents had continuously alerted the relevant officials that the tower is at risk as a result of the road widening project that was underway in the area. The area residents' questions as to why the historic value of the tower, which was constructed in the year 1796, was not given proper attention to.
Not a single government wanted to protect this tower. I don't know why. We presume that when the road was constructed with heavy machinery, it led to this situation.
There were many cracks. We informed about this as well, but unfortunately the tower is in a bad condition now.
We have granted permission to build anything 5 meters away from any historic sites, but this had not been followed here. In the past, a discussion took place over a lightning conductor. Some have carried out excavations here. Sometimes this may have happened due to the vibrations of the heavy machines used to construct the road. The Road Development Authority has dug up the foundation for the construction of the road. Therefore, the foundation of these towers has weakened. We will take legal action against this.
Authorities have directed their attention towards the environmental destruction caused by the Hulkiridola in the Ayagam area, which borders the Kalutara and Ratnapura districts.
On Wednesday, Newsfirst reported on the felling of many valuable trees in the forest where the Hulkiridola is located. The reasons for the Newsfirst expose were the allegations that were raised by locals and environment activists against the construction of a minor hydropower plant in the area. When Newsfirst visited the location, the officials at the Ayagama Divisional Secretariat noted that permission was not granted for the felling of trees. When the officials had reached the location, the timber of felled trees too had disappeared. Even the water from the proposed construction is not released in an approved manner.
We did not approve this. What has been approved is for 300 meters beyond this point. There is a design failure. I accept that. I have included 1 meter here. I made a mistake.
Sand for this construction is obtained from the Hulkiri Dola. At present, it has reached the level of an illegal sand mining ring.
This is completely wrong and this needs to be closed down. This has been dug up today as well. Someone is doing this. This has been done through the project. No one else would come here with an excavator. It appears to me that after you started this, others too have been doing the same thing. According to the conditions of the permit, the construction cannot take place in a forest reserve. However, with what has happened, the Divisional Secretariat can terminate this based on the conditions imposed.
Bar Association of Sri Lanka had raised its concerns over the appointment of a retired High Court judge as the High Court Commissioner.
The statement issued by the Bar Association of Sri Lanka notes that provisions relating to the appointment of High Court Commissioners exist to be used in exceptional circumstances and where the circumstances warrant such an appointment, such as where there is a shortage of judges conversant in a particular language. The statement notes that the BASL understands that it is claimed this appointment has been made with view of expeditiously hearing cases under the Prevention of Terrorism Act and the emergency regulations. It adds that such functions can be performed by High Court judges appointed by the President on the recommendation for the Judicial Services Commission and that there is no justification in appointing a High Court Commission for that purpose. It calls for immediate steps to be taken to reverse this process forthwith and that urgent steps be taken to fill the vacancies which exist in the High Court cadre.
The Human Rights Commission has raised its concerns on the rights of the detainees and remandees under the Prevention of Terrorism Act and the emergency regulations. In a letter addressed to the Attorney General, the Human Rights Commission called on him to take necessary action to ensure the protection of the rights of these detainees and remandees.
The Human Rights Commission of Sri Lanka in the letter has called for the immediate release of those held in detention or remand for a long period of time without charges and against whom there is no credible evidence. The letter bearing the signature of the chairman of the commission calls on the AG to review the cases of those indicted and to withdraw those cases which are solely based on the confessions made to police officers, cases where no credible evidence exists, and cases which are relatively minor. According to the letter, the commission views prolonged administrative detention or remand of persons as a serious violation of the fundamental rights guaranteed to them.
කාන්තායිතින් සුරකිමු. කාන්තාව සවි බලගන්වමු. එන්න අප සමග එක්වන්න.
A rally to raise awareness for World AIDS Day celebrations were held in Colombo today. MTV MBC was the media sponsor for the event.
Test today is the message of World AIDS Day, simply because only 50% of the people who are living with HIV have been tested for HIV. So we encourage all nations to be a little bit vigilant and get yourself tested, because HIV testing is provided free of charge with respecting your confidentiality by a professional group at every government hospital. So I should take this opportunity to really thank NBC Media Network to being the great support that they extend us as our media partner.
The car rally, which commenced from the Independence Square, arrived at its final stop, the Golf Face Green, after going through Burella and Nuvegora.
Former parliamentarian Rosi Senanayake was awarded a doctorate today. The Global University for Lifelong Learning awards these titles annually. 28 persons who rendered an immense service to society were awarded these titles. 10 doctorates, 3 Bachelor of Arts and 15 degrees were presented.
Samantha Power, the US ambassador to the United Nations, who is one of the most influential women in the world, arrived in Sri Lanka. I have 2 occasions of meeting her and speaking to her. During my meeting with her, I requested that either the United States or the United Nations intervene to save the Sri Lankan woman who was sentenced to be stoned to death in Saudi Arabia. At every available occasion, I work to ensure that a service is rendered to the country and society. I believe that you will experience a better tomorrow.
Officers attached to the anti-vice unit of Anuradhapura were attacked when they went to raid an illegal brewery.
Officers attached to the anti-vice unit of Anuradhapura were attacked when they went to raid an illegal brewery. The officers were attacked when they raided 4 houses in the Nalamaduwa area in Eppavala, where an illegal liquor ring was taking place. It has been reported that a police jeep had also been damaged following the incident.
What will they do to us if they can chase and attack 4 police officers from the Anuradhapura police?
The Eppavala police were called to mitigate the situation. The 8 suspects who were arrested in connection with the incident were produced before the Tambuthegama Magistrate Court today. The suspects were ordered to be further remanded until the 9th of December. A protest was staged in Jaffna today, urging the authorities to release a list containing the names of the disappeared from the north and south.
The former administration and the current Maitri Ranil administration are both using the questions surrounding the political prisoners as well as the questions surrounding the disappeared for their political gains.
An all-night period ceremony and almsgiving were organised in line with the 2nd death anniversary of late educationist R.I.T. Ullis was held yesterday and today. Late R.I.T. Ullis, who commenced his career as a teacher, dedicated his entire life to the betterment of the nation's education system. He is also known for his work to create many professionals. A number of politicians participated in the ceremony that was organised in memory of the late R.I.T. Ullis. The 38th Cygnus Awards 2015 was held at the BMICH yesterday to recognise the talent in the cinema and television industry of the country. Nilendra Deshapriya was conferred the award of Best Director for the year 2015. He was presented with the award for his work in the movie Tanha Rati Raga. A workshop was organised by Western Provincial Councillor Susari Danal for preschool teachers of Kalaniya.
We only understand what is happening in the country because of the media. However, if you look even beyond, children are being molested. If you do not protect the children, they will grow up to become persons with poisonous minds.
According to the Maldivian media, its police have broken up a mass opposition protest after thousands of protesters broke confinement and headed to the streets of the capital Male in defiance of the severe restrictions placed by the authorities. The MDP says that the continuous protest will carry on for 73 hours 30 minutes, which is the time period that they have allotted for the Maldivian government to meet their demands. And now in our sports news, Sri Lanka cricket captain Angelo Matthews says a challenge awaits as an inexperienced squad departed today to face New Zealand. Speaking to media prior to the team's departure, Matthews said that the team hopes to come over all the challenges.
The Sri Lanka-New Zealand series consists of 2 tests, 5 one-day internationals and 2 T20s. The Sri Lanka cricket team departed to New Zealand early this morning after participating in religious observances at Sri Lanka cricket. Sri Lanka faced the Black Caps last December and lost the test series 2-0. A great challenge awaits since most of our players in the test squad are inexperienced. Therefore, playing against the opposition in their home country is a great challenge. We have lost games even when there had been senior players as well. Therefore, I believe that our new players should be given an opportunity to showcase their skills, and I also believe that we will be able to play some good cricket.
The first International Thai Boxing Camp 2015 commenced in Colombo today.
The Thai Boxing Camp 2015 is organised by the International Jeet Kune Do Federation of Sri Lanka. The boxing camp is conducted by Kru Puk, the founder of the Muay Thai Academy and the president of the World Muay Thai Council of America. In addition, 2 martial arts instructors from the US, Mark Stewart and Mira Nilangana, were present for the Thai Boxing Camp 2015. Participants were trained for self-defense and attack positions. The Thai ambassador to Sri Lanka was the chief guest at the event.
not too fat. Once.
And with that, we wrap up Weekend Primetime News. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Sandro Ferdinando. Do take care and good night.